you could watch it too. There was nothing. There was no one talking to women like me. And I'm not, who I love, I'm not Rachel Maddow, and I'm not Samantha Bee. I don't have a passion for politics, but I do have a passion for how politics influences our society and for how we're feeling, in particularly as women. So I wanted to create a show that sort of addresses that and breaks it down. You know, I'm just like you. I read my 20 free Washington Post articles a month, and I read my tweets, and I regurgitate the same facts that we hear about Syria, and I consider myself pretty liberal. But at a certain point, there are things, if you don't have a background in politics and you don't follow it, especially in the news cycle that we're in, you get a little lost. And I was like, wouldn't it be great if there was somebody saying, here's what a state senator does, because I actually don't know. Here's how an electoral college works. Here, if this bill gets passed, here's why you should care. We have a segment on the show called, before I say that, I think a lot of times because of the inundation of news and everything is so negative, we look at our phones and you're just like, I can't even. Because every day it's like a shitty Groundhog Christmas. Like you wake up every day, you're like, what? Oh my, and like before you even get out of bed, the world is melting. And it's so difficult to have the stamina to know about every protest. And you know, some of us have jobs. I can't go down to the airport every time something bad happens. And so wouldn't it be great if there was somebody saying, I know that this seems far away, what's happening, but here's how it affects you. So we have a segment called, because people look at their phones like, ugh, I can't even. So this segment's called You Can Even and You Must, and here's why. And I just make it relatable, and without swaying you, without saying here's who you should vote for. I mean, it's obvious that I'm pretty liberal, but it's just a way to inform women, and it's fun, and each show has a different topic.
Now, can I ask, you know, this was in the works in September, when last time you were here. Now, when it was in the works before, was this going to be centered around informing people, not just of politics, but of news and how it relates to them? Because I've noticed that since the election, and for very good reason, it's very hard to talk about anything else. Like, we're upstairs coming up with a new idea for a show at AOL. Right. It's going to be an entertainment show that and every time we start talking about it, different time. There's obviously no competitive.
Competitive always.
Yeah.
Everything.
But every time we sit down to pitch something, it's sort of like, what's on our minds? And it's like, the alt-right, what's on our minds?
Right.
Syria. There's no point where anybody is like, what's on our minds? Well, I watched Big Little Lies last night. I really want to get into that. And everyone's like, it's a fine show, but it's not as important as this other thing.
We've come to a place, from the conception of this show to the actualization of it, we've come to a place where you actually can't afford to ignore what's going on. I didn't want to be... And this is not taking anything away from the brilliant people who already work in late night. I didn't want to be another liberal person shooting fish in a barrel.